Good morning on this early Saturday morning. It is September the 9th, 2017. Welcome to this week's weekly weather briefing. You see three tropical cyclones right now in the Atlantic. Yesterday was the record day of ACE produced, which is the available energy for that these cyclones are putting out. So we've been seeing some records broken. We've saw some records as far as 2 or more Category 4 or 150 mile per hour winds or stronger at the same time as far as two cyclones in the Atlantic. So we have a very busy time. This is not usual, even in the peak of hurricane season as we are, to see three cyclones at this strength to be consecutive like this. We saw a Category 4 make landfall in Texas. That was Harvey. Then we're having this one as a Category 4 or even a 5 make landfall in Florida. And this one we don't think will make landfall. This is Jose. We think it's going to spin out to sea, but it is still a very strong hurricane and could affect some of these leeward islands out here close to San Juan. So this is something that we usually don't see, and I think that this is going to be a catastrophic event for folks in South Florida. And notice a still Category 3 hurricane as it moves into Tampa Bay. So even as we see it moving inland, it's going to keep its strength, but it's going to be weakening a little bit. But as far as its strength that is life-threatening, it can very well become life-threatening even in folks in North Florida. It's South Florida that needs to worry the most right now, especially the Florida Keys. A lot of conspiracies about things getting wiped out and off the map. We'll wait and see. That's really taking it to the next level. We don't want to scare people that much, but for sure enough, a strong hurricane, major hurricane, is going to be making landfall late tonight and early tomorrow morning in the Florida state. Back home in our region, it is pretty chilly this morning. We did see some chilly temperatures over the last few days, and not as chilly as this, but this is still pretty chilly in the upper 40s in some spots to low 50s. Most of us are in the low to mid 50s. Temperatures will still cool off a degree or two from here over the next hour. It's still about an hour from sunrise or less. So these temperatures will continue to cool off just a little bit, but this is adding to the below average temperatures that we've seen so far this month. And we'll talk about at the end of the video what we think is going to happen here in about a week or so from now as far as those temperatures go. But we'll go ahead and start the presentation. This is the GFS Futurecast radar. Notice Hurricane Irma making landfall in Florida, but look at this. It moves up towards our region, and that is going to bring some windy conditions, some cool temperatures, and some rain, of course, for our region as it moves into the day on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we do need the rain. That's good news. So we are a little bit happy, and we're happy that we're not having to get it all at once. Not a lot of rain coming from this event, just a nice, steady, light to moderate rain with some gusty northerly winds are likely as you go into your day Tuesday and Wednesday. Temperatures only struggling to be in the middle to upper 60s, it looks like, for both Tuesday and Wednesday. So a light jacket probably going to be needed for the entire day, not just the morning hours. Those morning lows in those 2 days won't be moving a whole lot, but we'll talk about the temperatures at the end of the video. Notice as we get out towards next weekend, we're looking at a cold front approaching our region from the north and west. We'll see it right here as the isobars come closer together. A strong low pressure system moves to our north, bringing warm, moist air ahead of it. So warmer temperatures are likely by next weekend, and we're also looking at a more humid air mass to be in the region. We'll talk about those temperatures and what they could mean for next weekend ahead of that system. Besides this, rain coming in on Tuesday and Wednesday from the remnants of Irma. It doesn't look like we're going to be looking at any other rain chances this week, so we want to take what we can get from this tropical system. Here is the 500 millibar geopotential height anomaly. I've been showing you this map every single briefing. I think it's a key to what we can look at and a forecast for what can happen at the surface. Mostly with temperatures, sometimes with precipitation. In this case, with precipitation and temperatures, notice how the remnants of Irma would move into our region, and it brings a little bit of troughness into our region, so that means cooler temperatures are going to be likely, and those will be well below average for this time of the year, which is in the mid-80s. So anywhere in the low to middle and even upper 60s for high temperatures is going to put a dent in that below normal temperature department. By the time Irma moves out, or the remnants of Irma, notice how we see that strong ridging take place ahead of it. We have a trough building into the Pacific Northwest, not a very strong trough, but I think that it will strengthen as that cold front nears our region. The trough will strengthen and move in behind it, and possibly bringing cooler temperatures by the following week But right now, as of the next week, as of this weekly weather briefing, this week looks to be below average as far as temperatures. It's the warmer temperatures that we're watching out for next weekend, and then into the following week is when we could see that cooler air behind the cold front come in. But right now, it's still up in the air as far as what happens in the following week after that cold front. A lot of the models want to take it, all of the cold air mass north of us, and move it towards New England and just affect those areas. Others want to bring it down into our regions. So we have some different scenarios that we could look at and study and approach this on. But just know that at least over the next week, warmer temperatures are for sure going to happen ahead of this cold front. That is why the strong ridging will take place just right ahead of it. We're not looking at anything really that far above normal, just really back at the normal, which is around the mid 80s for this time of the year. 84, 85, even 86 degrees is still a normal for this time of the year. So these are not going to be that far fetched from normal as far as those temperatures are concerned. Now, over the next week, notice how cool we are, and it's a little bit up and down. The reason it goes down for Tuesday and Wednesday is because of the remnants of Irma, like I mentioned, are going to be bringing in cooler temperatures because we will be on the cold side of that system. And not only that, but clouds, precipitation being in our vicinity are going to help the temperatures lower enough, not having the sun's heating. And then look at those morning lows. We're looking at some cooler temperatures as a resurge of sort of cooler air comes in after this weekend. By tomorrow and on Monday, temperatures in the mid 70s with morning lows dipping back down into the upper 40s. So sort of like we've been seeing this morning, nothing out of the usual. About a week ago, we would have been complaining that this was cold, but now we're used to it because we've been approached with a whole week of cool temperatures like that. Once we get towards next weekend, I mentioned that warm up coming, but like I said, nothing that far fetched from normal. And then by the time we get towards the end of the month, it looks like a little bit of a cooler regime will start to settle into the region. Here is the European model guidance as far as rainfall totals over the next week are concerned. This is an overall view of what the rain from the remnants of Irma and Irma itself are going to bring to the southeast United States. Notice how there is sort of a sharp cutoff line, but we're not looking at 8 inches compared to a county or two over, and they get nothing. We're just looking at a gradual decrease as far as 1 inch to around a half an inch to a quarter inch. So that's all there is to it. We'll zoom into the Nashville view of it, and you can tell that western Kentucky gets about a half inch to an inch of rain, and there could be some localized higher amounts. That's all we have for this week's weekly weather briefing. We'll see you next week, and I hope you guys have a great week.